were you able to say, this is what I really want to do, creating my own path? How did that work for you?
I think that was just my drive, was to just create something that indigenous children from marginalized communities can also get, so that they can also have an equal fighting chance when it comes to having a sustainable future.
What motivated you to come back to Nigeria to build Dream Catchers?
I felt like what I had to offer wasn't needed in that environment. Yeah, so I was like, you know what if I come back?
I'm speaking of Dream Catchers Academy, dance. Why dance?
The trick is to get them to love dance enough that if you're like, you didn't do well in your math and your English, so no dancing. You want to dance so much that you concentrate in class.
How does storytelling influence you managing, or has it been able to influence the way you manage the academy itself?
The art, everything is a story. If you are teaching dance, if you are choreographing, you still need to tell a story with your body and with your moves and everything. So I think that one way or the other, that's interwoven.
Hello everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Future Pod, where we have honest and unfiltered conversations with our guests. On today's episode, we'll be discussing why the school to work transition is broken. I have here with me an amazing woman, a filmmaker, an entrepreneur, and the founder of Dream Catchers Academy. Welcome, Seyi Oluyole. Hi, Seyi.
Hi.
Thank you for being here. It's been a long time coming, honestly. I've always wanted to have a one-on-one conversation with you, and we've not been able to have these podcasts in 2 years. We've been procrastinating. We're going to start podcast and all that, but we've not been able to do that over time. So I'm very excited. You are one of the people that I really love their work, especially one of the people that have won the Future Out Africa, that are really doing a lot in the community. You empower young girls, and that's a great thing. You're doing a very amazing job there. But we have this belief. Let me just start with this. There's a popular belief that if you go to school, you work hard, and you have a degree, life should just work for you. Things should just fall in place for you. That's the belief we have here in this country, Nigeria. And we have people like you who, you've been able to not just transition, you've not just been able to navigate through this school to work transition, but you've also been able to build something for yourself, which is the Dream Catchers Academy. It's a good thing. I wanted to know, how did it work for you, or what was the motivation behind it, and how were you able to say, this is what I really want to do, creating my own path? How did that work for you?
Well, I believe that something has to give. I think that's just how I was raised. I wasn't necessarily raised on a bed of roses. So growing up, I understand something not working out and then pushing until it works out, until you have what you want. And I think that's basically how this whole thing came to play. If you have a degree, you still have to move around, because even in countries that work better than here, because what people want is value. Yeah. So aside from the typical things that you've been taught in school, what value are you also offering? Aside from your degree, what value do you have to offer the workplace? Why should you get a position instead of the other person? If there are 3 people applying for a post, why should you be chosen? It depends on the value that you are offering. And I think that's something that I've always learned, and that's what I've always pushed me, is what value are you offering? What value are you offering? And I think I saw a gap in the industry, a gap that I had hoped to be in as a young child, but did not have that opportunity.
Do you want to share that with us?
Yeah, so I've always loved the arts. I used to write songs. I used to always want to dance, but I was never able to get formal training for that, and not for lack of, not because we didn't try. I think as at that time when my mom had noticed the gifts in me, she attempted to take me to Wale Adenuga Productions then, because that was what she knew. But when we got there, I think the bill was like 45,000 naira, and that was a lot of money for us.
She couldn't afford it.
Yes,
Wow.
because I wasn't even attending school. Like, we were struggling with my school fees, so that was just a lot. And of course, school fees would come first. So before they raise school fees money, sometimes we would even go to like movie sets. Like, she would take me to movie sets, or find like an adult in the industry that, okay, maybe if this person can mentor me, that will help. Yeah, but that never really resulted so much. But I think just seeing all the efforts that she was making, and understanding that the effort did not work out, because it wasn't because we didn't move. It didn't work out because
there was some finance.
Exactly, it was financial restraints, but we moved. So for me, it was like, if I felt that way, it means that there will be many children that also are passionate about the arts and would want some form of training. So does that mean that if they are from poor backgrounds or marginalized communities, that talent will just die? Yeah, because I know that there's not everybody that is as tenacious as I can be. So I think that was just my drive, was just create something that indigent children and people from marginalized communities can also get, so that they can also have an equal fighting chance when it comes to having a sustainable future.
That's interesting. That's a very good thing, especially when you are in a position, you understand it better than any other person. At the age of 21, you left Nigeria, and this is at age 21 in Nigeria. Some students are still trying to figure it out. Some are just gaining admission, some are probably still in school, some are just finishing school. What motivated you to come back to Nigeria to build Dreamcatchers?
I didn't feel fulfilled, because I actually left to go and like they say chapa. That was the plan. And I was working at an after school program there.
Okay.
And I was working with at-risk kids. But the situation there was very confusing for me, because they used to have free breakfast and free lunch, and children would be complaining. And like, it was a public school.
What were they complaining about?
They don't like the burger. The burger's dead. The burger's dead.
Oh wow! I wish they knew.
Like, just privilege. So they were always complaining, and I didn't understand it, because I was like, what? Because even sometimes the meals that were, those of us that were working there would even take some of the meals home. So I was wondering, like, okay, I guess it's privileged. And in the classrooms too, each student had like computers, like laptops that they would work with, and it was a public school. So I couldn't really relate, because when I moved and I was telling everybody my vision and everything, my brothers were like, oh, don't worry, you can also work with at-risk kids here, which was basically what took me there. But I every time that I was with them, I loved the job, I loved being with the kids, but I felt like what I had to offer wasn't needed in that environment. Yeah, so I was like, you know what if I come back? And everybody was losing their mind, but we survived, and I'm here today. So you came back to Nigeria, and at age 24, you started Dreamcatchers in your living room. How did that work for you? Was there any time you felt like discouraged, and you really wanted to just leave everything and move on with your life, maybe go find a 9-to-5 job or do something else with your time? Well, when I first came back, I actually had a 9-to-5. So when I was coming back to Nigeria, I knew that I wasn't coming back to any riches or any money.
You had to survive on
exactly.
your own.
And my brother specifically said, do not call us and ask us for money, because you are choosing to leave this. Like, you are choosing to live here and go back to Nigeria, and everybody knows what Nigeria is like. So if you choose to do this, don't call us. So before I left, I started looking for a job, and I actually found a 9-to-5 job. It was writing then.
Yeah, in Nigeria.
Yeah, in Nigeria. So I was going from Ikorodu to Surulere. It was crazy. That's not what it means to be, and I just got back. It was crazy. So I eventually quit the job, and I think around that time was when I got the job on Tinsel, and I was able to rent a flat.
Okay.
And then that 2018, when I think we had a viral video in March of 2018. I had given myself the end of 2018, and I was just going to like do something more in my life here, because I already had people telling me that you're just wasting your time.
I can imagine.
So, but thankfully, things worked out, and I didn't drop it. So we had the viral moment, and then we had more support, and I was able to get myself people to guide me, and that helped push me more. And of course, just seeing how much confidence was being built in the children, just seeing how better they were, seeing the impact that the art and the dancing was making, both in their individual lives, their behavior, and their education. Exactly. So I was like, I want to keep doing this. So yeah.
Now, I'm speaking of Dreamcatchers Academy. Dance. Why dance? Okay, so I know you have a no school, no dance policy. So you use dance as a tool to ensure that the students or these children, stay back in school. What are other things that they learn that the school doesn't teach them?
School doesn't necessarily teach you self-confidence.
Okay.
You learn. You have the choice to raise up your hand in class. When you have been asked a question, you can be shy and not raise up your hand. That's your problem. Like, if you are lucky, you have a teacher that maybe pushes you and says you must answer, but that doesn't always happen. So I think that's one life skill that dancing teaches. Also memory. Like I like to say, when you're dancing, you use counts, you use numbers. And so it's like in sets and in count. So if I say to my student that give me 2 sets of 8 counts, they understand what I'm saying.
Okay.
And if a child that can understand that, I can use that to encourage you and say, you can do this thing. You are moving your body for 3 minutes from your memory, and you can move your body. So you can understand what your teacher is saying.
Do 8 steps.
Exactly.
Dance.
Exactly. So it's just about interest. So the trick is to get them to love the dance enough that if you are like, you didn't do well in your math and your English, so no dancing. You want to dance so much that you would concentrate in class.
Oh, that's very interesting. But do you teach these children? Because I see, very young kids, some of them 5, 6, and they are really dancing. Do you teach them how to dance, or they just see other people dancing and they follow suit?
No, I often teach them how to dance. We just enroll children who are in need.
Okay.
And then, like I like to say, I have a special gift. Like, as long as it's a living thing, I will make something out of it. So.
Okay. Have you ever felt in any way that you were doing the job of government or an institution, whereby you bringing children together and teaching them things that even the government will not do for you, or an institution will not do for you?
I've never really felt like I'm doing the job of the government. How I've felt is it would be easier with a collaboration. It would be easier with proper child laws. It would be easy. So, because I just found out last week that if a parent comes to you and says, I'm not doing it, give me my child, and you argue with that parent, it has already entered kidnapping. I didn't know that because I drag it out with them. We'll drag it out till they see reasons. So when my lawyer was telling me that, I was like, I didn't know that. So I think the child laws, I feel like if we had better child laws and they were being, the child protection policy is being taken very seriously, that would be helpful. But I've never necessarily felt like I'm doing the work of the government. I just feel like support from that end will make the work a lot more easier.
I agree with you. I remember, when I was 7, I camped in Kaduna State, and there were a lot of kids there that don't want to go to school. They don't want to go to school. So most times, what the school authority, what they do then, they cook food. So their parents will tell them, "Well, you go to school, you go and eat there." Do you understand? So
Yeah.
it drives them, it's like a tool to bring them to school to learn. Did you do anything like that? Did you push in any form to ensure that these children actually learn and not just coming there to dance?
But when I first started, then that was why most of them were coming, was for
Because
the
of the
food.
for the food.
Yeah, because after rehearsals, we used to share food. Every time we did rehearsals, we share food. So some of them came for the food. And even right now at our school, because we also have these students, our students are coming from the community into the school. There are some that's the reason why their mom is just like, just go, because they're going to eat anyway. So go. So yeah.
Wow. Okay, so let's talk about story, filmmaking and story writing. You wrote some things for Tinsel and some other shows like that.
Yeah.
How does storytelling influence you managing, or has it been able to influence the way you manage the academy itself?
Yes, because I believe that there's a story in everything. Yes, but I think that for working on Tinsel, the biggest impact that had was the head writer on Tinsel, then Ngozi Chijuka. I think that's the first time I had seen a woman in her element, not being scared to be in her element, like a woman that can talk, that can, and she was a leader in the room. So that had such a profound effect on me. I was like, oh, so as a woman, I can speak up. I can choose to do what I want to do. I don't necessarily need to put myself in anyone's shell. So that trusted me forward. And then basically, it also taught me how to lead. It taught me how to lead and find a balance. So you don't always have to be like authoritative of what I say is what you have to do, but everybody finding a balance. And so sometimes I understand that it's a negotiation. And then in the arts, everything is a story. If you are teaching dance, if you are choreographing, you still need to tell a story with your body and with your moves and everything. So I think that one way or the other, that's intertwined. And I also wrote and produced a short film that kind of talked about some of the plights that street kids go through. And that also came from my inspiration of writing.
Okay. Just so that the audience understand what you mean by street kids. Most of these children, of course, they have parents. Some of them have parents. Is it that they don't have interest in going to school, or it's because of the finance that you see them on the streets, probably hawking or doing other things when they're supposed to be in school?
Some people actually don't want to go to school.
Yeah, I agree.
I learned that
I've seen things like that.
I learned that very hardly, but people actually don't want to go to school. So it's important that when you are offering something, you are offering what people want. I think that's the mistake that people often make. You just feel like, I have this thing to offer, I have to take it. So it's important that if you are offering something, the person you have to think of what they need. So there are some kids or families that I meet, and what they just want is some form of support from you, and they are willing to care for their kids. And there are people who just understand that the child should not grow up in this environment. So if what you are offering is that you can take my child away from this environment, keep her somewhere safe, and you are saying that
you're promising me that she's going to learn.
Exactly, she's going to learn. You are telling me that in my lineage, a child will attend university. So many of them are just like, wow, you know what, I believe in you. And also because at the point when I was a teenager, we kind of lived in a slum. It has been demolished now. It's called Ekute, very similar to Makoko. So I kind of grew up there. So when I used to go there was a kind of trust, because they know me. They knew that I was there when I was younger, and many of them are just inspired by the fact that, so this girl
that came out
of here can make something of her life like this. You know what? That means our children also have a chance.
Yeah, I agree with you. Dreamcatchers has gained global recognition. You see icons like Beyonce and so many of them like that. How did that make you feel?
It made me feel very happy, very, 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 very happy. Like, there are no words to say it. When I started this out, I didn't think it would come out this far. Yeah, I didn't think that it would turn out this far. So all glory to God. This has been amazing. I was very surprised, because actually when we did the Beyonce's Brown Skin Girl, was literally, it was the week that I had just escaped from my marriage, and I had to do that video. So I was very surprised at the love and everything. It was a very helpful moment for me, because it was at that time people were saying that you need to take care of yourself, so you have to return these kids to where they are coming from. But just that whole thing with Beyonce just helped calm me down, that we can do this, we can heal together.
Yeah. I'm glad you were able to still pull through despite what you were going through at the time. I guess that was what inspired the book you wrote. Inside Life, I Bend, I Don't Break. So you shared your experience with abuse. What made you decide that you were not going to hide anymore?
The real reason why I decided I wasn't going to hide anymore is I always wanted to write a book. And I got a book deal at one time when I was 20, but it didn't work out. So I was like, what story do I want to tell? At first, I started writing it out of revenge, but I took a break and then came back a year later, and I was like, you know what? I want to tell a story, and I think this is the story that I would like to tell.
How do you lead young girls in carrying the weight of taking care of these children while still healing? Because you're still healing. How do you carry the weight of making sure that they are okay? You want them to follow this particular path. You want them to do well in life while you're still healing. How does that make you feel?
I have an amazing team. I think that's just one thing. That God has blessed me with amazing people around me. So sometimes I'm very intrinsically motivated. Like if I fall, I will stand up. I fall, I will stand up. I don't really believe in, oh, that's the end. I believe in constantly pushing. Something has to give. So, but there are days when I'm very exhausted, and I just have team members who are like, okay, you know what, you can take the week off and we'll handle things for you. So that happens, and sometimes we all pull through together. We drag it through.
That's nice. What woman, or what do you see? What are you looking to achieve by training those girls? What kind of woman do you see them become? Would you like to see them become in future?
I want them to become women that understand that I can be what I want to be. I want them to become women of their own choice. So that's just how I just say, like, whatever choices you make, know that you made your choice. Don't carry the heavy burden of this is what society says I have to do. And most importantly, I hope for a time when these young girls can come back into the academy and talk to other young girls too, and say, oh, this is where I started from. Yes, I've been here before. I always say the DCA program is not for the faint-hearted. You have to be ready. So it's very important. Like, for instance, I think it was last week, a parent was just saying that, oh, I remember how you were and look at how far you have come, and I know that my child is also from where you came from, and because of that I have trust in you. And so he is a parent that said that, but I imagine a girl from DCA who has grown into a woman of vision coming in and saying the same thing. And we can play videos of when she was young and in the academy, and now she's an adult, and then the children can believe that they are not boboing me. It's true, I can also do it.
Yeah, sure. That's true. It's like giving back to the community. When you're being trained by someone, you've done well for yourself. It's always good to always go back and give something back to them. I'm not going to be asking so much again,
okay,
because I feel like I've taken enough of your time. But I wanted to ask, so what advice will you give to a graduate who has a degree, is hardworking, doing well, not doing well for themselves, but they don't know how to navigate, the school to work transition? What advice will you give them? Will you tell them to find a skill? Because that's what people will usually say. Find something that you're very good at, you're passionate, about, and just push that. Or would you rather advise them to get a job, just to get stability first before they now find their passion? What will you advise them?
Well, the first thing I would advise is patience. I think that's something that a lot of people are losing. Patience. People don't understand that there's a process. Just want it now. But yeah, like you said, there is always, if you remember, I had said that I learned some form of leadership when I was at Teen Cell.
Yeah.
Passion is great. Structure is also very important. And I learned that through experience. Like, I like to say something that when you are born into a rich family, there are certain things that they teach you that if you aren't, life will teach you.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's just patience, be open to learning, and you have to work. So I really believe in working somewhere first, because when you work somewhere, you understand certain things, and like you said, stability. And even if you want to start out a business, you need money to start out your business. So you work somewhere, you earn a salary, then you can start out your business, and you also get a glimpse of how a business is run. Because it's very easy to say your guy is wicked until you start a business and you realize that heavy is the hedge. So yeah,
I agree with you. Okay, so were there times when you wanted to like give up on dream catchers, especially maybe you couldn't get funding or support from any other organization, and you were just tired? I remember there was a time I saw a video of the house thing. You needed a location or something, and you started building yours. You guys started building yours. So was there a time you wanted to just give up, that we can't do this anymore? I would like to share that experience.
a lot of times. I don't even know which of the experiences I will share.
Have you ever had any experience? Let me ask, any experience where you have to choose a girl's one of your child's decision than how will I put it, than Dreamcatcher's decision? So for instance, maybe one of the children going through a lot, and you have to put that above the organization itself.
Yeah. When we were going for France Got Talent semi-finals, we were meant to live with 7 girls, but there was one of them that I knew that she wasn't ready, and we had paid for the visa and everything, but she wasn't ready. She just wasn't ready. And most times people just feel like, oh, travel into everything, but that's not what we are doing. Yeah, exactly. What do I gain if she? What's that Bible passage? What do I gain if she loses her soul?
So gains the whole world and
what do I gain if she gains the whole world and loses her soul? So there are times when sometimes I even turn down certain engagement because I'm like, this is not going to be beneficial to the child. It's not. The entertainment is great, but it's more than the dancing. The purpose of this is for them to have a sustainable future, for them to alleviate their family from poverty, for them to go back into the community and do something with it. So when the focus is becoming too strong on stardom, the focus is becoming too strong on mini celebrities.
So you don't lose themselves.
Exactly. So I often have to take a step back. So I do that a lot, but yeah, that specific one, I had to just inform the France Got Talent team that it's one of our girls will not be able to attend because she wasn't going to be able to handle it, and we're experiencing some internal issues at that time. So because it would have been nicer when it's 7 children, the dance would have been nicer.
Yeah.
But I didn't care about the dance in that moment.
Wow.
The future was more important, and of course the loss of the visa and everything, but it worked out better. She went for the next one.
That's great. Do you have any plans, do you want to share any plans you have maybe for the children, maybe in next 2-3 years?
I don't know. We are furnishing our home, so
Okay.
that's where we are currently. Thankfully, we are done with the home that we started constructing, and we are furnishing our home. Okay. So for the next 2-3 years, I think what I've been thinking about is an art center this time, just because right now we are just managing our space and doing everything, but like an art center where more children in the Elekwe community can come in and then hopefully be able to recreate the program in other states, because obviously we can't have everybody from other states come to Lagos. But I believe that the growth that myself and my team that we've seen with the Dreamcatchers Academy program, I strongly believe that arts integrated education
Will help them.
will help. Yeah, it's definitely going to help with reducing the out of school, because kids really they love
They
it.
love it.
They
Yeah.
really love it. So except when it gets too serious, but they really love it. So
Okay. Is there an age bracket to the children that you actually sponsor?
not necessarily. We have an age bracket for intake, but we don't have an age bracket for leaving. So the age bracket for intake is usually between 6 to 10.
Okay.
If you are very exceptional and educational, you can move the age forward, and same too. But we don't take lower than 4. The youngest we were taking is 4.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but she was exceptional. And we don't do, although Dreamcatchers Academy is popular for dancing, but we actually have a music program, and we have a
Oh, wow.
videography and photography program also in the Dreamcatchers Academy. So for kids who get bored with dancing or they don't want to dance, they have other things that they can do. Yes.
Wow. Empowering young people in Africa is one of the touch points that a lot of entrepreneurs should look into. You know, not just girls, of course, not just gender based, but empowering people, giving back to the society and giving back to the nation. It will help us go a long way, especially in our country, Nigeria. So thank you so much
Thank you.
for being here. That'll be all.
Hi, yay.
Bye. So guys, this is the end of our episode with Seyi Oluyole. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much, and see you next time. Bye.